Okay, over to you, G. The stage is all yours.
Sweet, sounds good. All right, guys. So quickly, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Can you guys see my screen? Perfect. So basically, I'm looking at ETH here. I know we got the news about the SEC, yada, 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 launching a campaign to register ETH as a security. In my opinion, I think, it's not something I'm worried about. I think that ETH is not the kind of coin they want to be going after as security. I actually think that's, to me, kind of ridiculous if I were to just put it in one way. I mean, just think about it. They literally lost against XRP. They lost against XRP, guys. If they lose against XRP, then I have no idea why they think they can literally knock out Ethereum, especially with Larry Fink starting to load his spot bags and getting ready for the ETF. I think that's pretty ridiculous. Personally, I bought some ETH spot here. I think I'm really liking the structure in the 1 hour. You have this break of structure on this 1 hour high coming down for a higher low now, in my opinion. So I actually think the ETH has potential to start having a little bit of a move up here, believe it or not. I'm not saying that that's why I didn't leverage long, because of course, I think playing leverage right now is a bit difficult. And for me, this is the first break of structure we've had on ETH. So personally, it's riskier than waiting. It's riskier to jump in like a long now rather than just being a little patient and waiting for things to play out a little bit, especially with BTC. BTC is not looking like the most bullish by any means. So that's why I'm being a little patient here. But overall, ETH looks fine. I think that news, like I said, is basically a nothing burger. Like I said, I really don't think that they're going to succeed by any means at classifying ETH as a security. It's just crazy to me, XRP had such a stronger case as to being a security than ETH, and they lost. So I don't have any idea why they think they could beat Ethereum in the ETH Foundation. So that's kind of how I feel about it. BTC Bitcoin ETF flow table. Is that yesterday? Yeah, so I did see that GBTC had the largest outflow yesterday of any day so far. And so I mean, right now that's another reason, like I said, BTC is not looking the greatest. We can look at the BTC chart. Let me go ahead and pull up our Foxian list here. So unlike Ethereum, as you guys can see, BTC wasn't even strong enough to come up to even retest these local highs here in the 1 hour, So BTC is still pretty weak. Overall, I bet if we go to the 15-minute time frame, looks like we came to retest a golden pocket fib. Yep, exactly. So we already got at least over a 1% bounce off that golden pocket. Good, of course, but at the same time, am I bullish on BTC yet? No. I think you really do need to break these 1 hour highs, in my opinion. I'm not going to be comfortable getting into any position on BTC until I see something like this. If that makes sense. Just because overall, until you break these highs, you could just continue doing the same thing over and over again, which is simply, excuse me, simply, you got your high here, couldn't take that high here, highs here. And now simply we've got these highs, which correlates with these lows. So at the very least, I want to see us come up and flip these for a potential trade opportunity. And I would take this personally. You got a nice flip scenario. I would just take this to the next highs first, not getting too ambitious with it. Something like that. And that'd be like a 1 hour flip. You don't want to see a swing failure pattern here, by the way, guys. So you want to wait till you at least get a 1 hour closure above 64,982. This is just a scalp trade, by the way. I'm only looking for scalps right now. There's no change in structure here that's looking bullish. The only thing that I like is, and this is what I saw like last night. 1 second, I'll go ahead and post this for you all. The only thing that I like is that on the 4 hour last night came down. You retested this 4 hour order block down here, which I liked. 4 hour 200 moving average, and then taking a fib pull from your wick low to your highs here. A turn on 886. You had a perfect 886 hit as well. So you had a lot of confluence at these lows, which gave you your bounce that we got so far. However, in my opinion, like, I think that it's too early to be quote unquote like calling a low. Personally, at this point, I'd be interested in sizing things up. Really, at this point, it would be this wick here, the swing failure pattern of this wick, because you already took these lows here, so there's really no liquidity. The only area that I see next would be down here at 59,196. So either, in my opinion, you bounce here, which you're doing. You either take these lows again and bounce at the 886, or you wait for the long at 59,196, which personally I would be doing that. Because other than that, things are pretty clear. Like, if you lose that level, then you're basically free falling until like 54K. You haven't built up like any support throughout this region, at least in my opinion. You have 4 hour bullish div, couple drives, so that's on your side. That's another reason why, like, if we really do get this long down here, then I would be very interested. And I would buy spot down here too. If you're a spot buyer, like, it's not a terrible place to start buying a little here. I just think your risk reward is better if you come at least down to this wick. So like coming down to the 6,900 wick from last night for a spot play, I would be interested in. And honestly, I would take this one all the way to the top side of the range. Like, I don't see a reason why not. And I'll probably actually DCA at this second wick here. I like that. All right. Anyone have any questions on my thoughts on Bitcoin at the moment? Just major news headlines designed to get you to sell your crypto to Larry before they prove an ETF. Yeah, basically. That's how I feel about it. Same thing done to CZ before BTC app. Yeah, so it's one of those things to me. Like, I personally don't feel like this is anything like newsworthy in terms of like, like ETH is kind of done for at this point. This is really terrible for Ethereum. The ETH Foundation is screwed. Like, I don't know how they're gonna come back from this. Yeah, that's not how I'm feeling about it. So let's see. Quanto futures contract. I don't know if this will have the data I want. No, it does not. Get rid of that channel here. Get rid of that channel. Okay. So yeah, I started buying some ETH spot here, guys. Overall, how do I feel about where we're going from here? I am going to get very interested if we really get anywhere close to $3,000 on ETH. And then if we get anywhere near 2,500, I would very much like that too. That's here on the weekly chart. Now let's go to lower time frames. 3,007, where I'm interested next. And then, yeah, so really, like, honestly, guys, anywhere from here, here, and here, I'd be an ETH buyer. I really don't see why not, just because there's no reason for me that we're gonna go and essentially like retest this range down here. Like, I really have no reason to think that we come down to retest this range. To me, and if you do come down into this range, I'd probably cut my spot position until you reclaim 2100 or so, 2175, because I don't want us to lose it and then start chopping around again here. So these are basically like the three areas that I'd be wanting to buy. Then just looking at this in terms of a harmonic, you start out with your X point, A point. Nah, this one wouldn't really work. 886 is up here, but your parameters don't really fit. So maybe if you took a pull from this high there, then the 1272, that would be better. And you do have some confluence here at 4315 with this wick. I'm not super interested in extension harmonics though, guys. So the thing is anything that's above 1 on A to C or above 1 on X to D, like here, I don't really like, because in my opinion, extension harmonics, they're harder to trade because it's harder to strategize your entry stops and that sort of thing. It's one thing to like buy spot and sell spot at extension harmonics, but I'm not a big fan of trying to size up a trade with like clear and tight stops and that sort of thing, because a lot of times your extension harmonics don't work out very well. You're taking a mortgage if ETH goes to 2,100. Don't blame you, man. What other coins do I think are good for spot? We can just go through a couple of different coins and do that sort of thing. Today's stream, guys, is we're actually like gonna start looking a little bit at harmonics if you guys are interested in that. So I'm gonna go ahead and post a harmonic cheat sheet in chat for you all to look at. Okay, So I just posted this in chat. You guys should be able to see it. Basically, this harmonic chart that I posted, the idea here is that you got bearish and bullish harmonics. So in general, harmonics are what I call just fibs on steroids. Essentially, instead of just taking your typical Fibonacci retracement or Fibonacci extension that you would see on a chart, you're actually doing so with these M and W shapes. And so it's basically incorporating patterns with Fibonacci, if that makes sense. And so you can't just take a fib pull from high to low and make it a harmonic. It has to be a specific sort of M or W shaped pattern with, in my opinion, with these ratios, you can have these M and W shaped harmonics without adhering to these specific ratios. However, in my opinion, they're not a classical type of harmonic when you do it that way. And whenever you do try to do it that way as well, a lot of times, in my opinion, they just won't work out most of the time. Most of the time, like, you know, if you try to take an M shape and it's like at a X to D's at 1 instead of an 886, that's more so less of a harmonic and more so just like a swing failure pattern or a double bottom. And so personally, like, they're fine, and I don't blame someone for using like unofficial harmonics, but in my opinion, sticking to a system is always just best. And so personally, guys, just a little blurb. I like sticking to the bat harmonic and the shark. Personally, my favorite ones are the 886 here and the 886 on the bat, and then specifically the 886 on the shark. So the 113 on the shark, I'm not a huge fan of. Just like I told you guys, I don't really like extension harmonics. So basically, just like what I mean, let me show you guys just on a typical chart. So if I just go on like the ETH chart, say on like the 4-hour here, and I'm looking at it this way in terms of just a Fibonacci. So if I take a fib from this swing low to your highs of your rally, and let me just throw up some equal Fibonaccis on here. So if I keep those and then I turn on like your extension fibs as such. So here, what I'm talking about in terms of like an extension harmonic are these 17272 and 1414 fibs. Like personally, I'm not like a huge fan of them unless there's other confluences that go along with it. So like I said with ETH here, because you have other confluence at these fib levels, with this 3007 level being the top of a 3-day order block, then I'm like, okay, this specific zone between 3007 and the 1272, that's a fib that I like. And this is an area I'd take a trade because I can basically, like, I can, what's the word for it? Like, I can size it up because I have two areas of confluences here, an entry at 3008, an entry at the 1272. Then I can just have stops below because I have multiple things showing me that there's a potential bounce at this area. However, if I just had the 1272, which a lot of people, that's what they use on their harmonics, like they just jump into their harmonic, they take longs at the 1.13 or the 1618 or the 1272 on the butterfly, and they don't know why they don't work out. And a lot of time it's because there's not enough confluence at those levels. Like, rather than for example, like imagine that, you know, let's say, I'm trying to think of a good example just like on this chart. Let me go to just a 1-hour time frame. So here, for example, like you have a clear range low and a range high here, and I'll get rid of these fibs. You've got a clear range high and a clear range low. So a lot of times people they'll instead of like taking a long at the range low here, they'll be like, okay, there's a 1272 fib down here that I'll take a long at. Well, you're basically losing your range lows. You're having a bearish break of structure. So just taking a long at the 1272, which would be down here, it's not going to really give you the reaction you're looking for 9 times out of 10 because you don't have any other confluence with it. However, if you do take a fib pull from high to low, and you put my favorite fibs on, when you take a long at the 886, like I was saying, and this is just an example. I'm not saying I would have done it here, but if you take along at the 886, you can easily strategize your entry and stop loss and that sort of thing. Because what I usually do with an 886 fib is I enter at the 886, I have a DCA at my X point, which is where the wick is here, and then I just have my stops below. And as a result, I can easily strategize an entry, DCA, and stop loss, and I have my targets above. So that's why I like these retracement fibs rather than the extension ones, is because I can much easier, very I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. Like, it's a better way to strategize my trades compared to the extension fibs. So that's why I discussed the bat and the shark being my favorites, because you got the 886 on both of them. The Gartley's okay and the Cypher's okay because you have the 786 fib, but it's just harder to strategize a risk reward trade on them because you have to basically take an entry higher than the 886. And as a result, the retrace is shallower. Personally, if I'm going to go for a shallow retrace on a fib, I like taking longs at or shorts at a golden pocket fib, not the 786. Okay, so that was just a little intro on harmonics, guys. I just wanted to give you guys a little taste of what I like, how they work a little bit. So overall, if I show you guys a harmonic just in general, they look like this. On a chart. So you basically see like a point A, point B, point X, point A, point B, point C, point D, and you're essentially looking to find W shapes and M shapes on your charts, and you make sure these numbers that you see in between fit the parameters that you see in the cheat sheet. Basically, that's how I would start out by doing it, because these are the typical harmonics that you have. So this kind of thing, it just takes a little while to get the hang of. It's not something that, is a very quick process, but I think you guys will get the hang of it the more you do it. All right, so just a little intro on harmonics there. Wanted to go over that. Now we can look a little bit at some coins you guys are wanting. Someone wanted Render and Aptos, so I'll just take a look at them real quick. Got Render here. Yeah, so personally on Render, let's see. You do have a daily level here. So I would actually be interested to see what kind of reaction you get at that daily. Pull up daily. Let's go on the 4 hours, see how things are looking though. Daily's at range lows here in Render, so if you guys were interested in taking a trade, I would essentially be looking for something like this. And what I would be looking for is look for a reaction on lower time frames here on Render. Make sure that, it's not just something that cuts through the level like butter. You want to basically go on, let's say, even like the 5 minute here. And whenever price comes down to this level at 10.29, if it does, of course, you want to see price wick down to that level and at least close above it on the 5 minute on 1 or 2 candles. You don't want to see it just come down to that level and immediately close below it on like a lower time frame like the 5. That's basically showing a lack of strength. And as a result, like, that's not the kind of trade I want to be taking. So especially right now with Bitcoin looking weak, like, you want to try to avoid those kinds of trades. I know Aptos was one that was actually on the stronger side of things. Yeah, it's still looking pretty strong. So when this thing's just riding trend here. So far your trend is still bullish. I like it. Let's look on a higher time frame. So really think anything that's, closing above this 14.28 level on the daily, I would not be surprised if you see 18.83 coming up in the future. It would not surprise me. And I mean, you're doing nothing but making higher highs and higher lows here. So that's a thing that I also like. Like, you're leaving all these lows along the way. Every single time. So essentially, like, because you're leaving them every single time, like, I would just follow the trend here. And essentially, I would just be looking to have my stops below your last lows. Theoretically, you shouldn't come down and break them. And overall, I would be looking to take this all the way to 18.8. You guys see how every single time you have these lows, they don't get taken? The only time that it really happened was right here, where you swing failure patterned right at the lows, but you still bounce from there. So as long as you don't break the lows, you're good. This thing is still bullish. All right, so Ape, Zill, Big Time, Mubi, OP, KNC. So we'll look at these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that'll probably do it. Yeah, so for here, for example, on Ape, as you can see, like the same thing, where you leave all these lows, you finally started breaking them. Your first like red flag here was essentially like once you had these lows form and your new high, you came down, you started breaking them. So this is not good on the 1 hour, 4 hour. Yeah, so I want to see a little bit of ranging action here. Preferably, like, I want to see you start coming down and maybe doing something like this. And then you would enter on the higher low right there. But until you like start doing a little bit of it doesn't need to look exactly like this. Like, essentially, like, you want to see something like this something like what you see in this area, where you stop the downtrend and you're just kind of going sideways for a bit. Because right now you're breaking below your previous highs here from December, and that's not good. That's bearish. So I would be patient here. I mean, overall, like, higher time frame structure starting to look bullish because you have, let me get rid of this. You have your first low, you've got your higher low, and preferably you'd make another higher low here. And so if you're wanting to buy spot Ape, I mean, this wouldn't be the worst area in my opinion. I think you've probably come down to a golden pocket fib. Yep, came down to the golden pocket here. So overall, not bad. Not a bad place to start layering in some spot. The only time I would start to get a little cautious is if you break back below 1.55 to come down to your second valley here. Then that's kind of showing like a more bearish break of structure here. So go look at big time. Yeah, so big time, unfortunately, couldn't get lift off after breaking these local highs here. After you broke above them, that was kind of all you got. Sorry, guys, that's my cat, if you can hear him. Basically, what I'd be looking for here on big time is another tap of these range lows here at 294. And I would DCA at that wick. Something like this. Come down. And hopefully you get a nice bounce off of these lows. Mubi. Overall, not looking the greatest. Not gonna lie. Yeah. Just take a fib pull from low to high here. Yeah, this isn't looking the greatest. I would probably want to see something like this. Coming down, taking these overall lows, and then maybe doing something like this over time. This would be like your most ideal scenario. And honestly, like I would have bids placed down here as well at these lows. But yeah, overall, like I would be a little patient here. So far, this bearish structure is still playing out, so I think it's too early. All right, here on OP. Get on the daily here. Got a daily level there. And then you got another. Nope, that's actually the only one. So place it at that wick. Yeah, I mean, OP looks fine from a structural point of view. Obviously, like higher highs, higher lows here. Nothing to worry about. And your daily RSI starting to get to oversold territory. So I would be interested in really like picking up some spot. Yeah, you've got the 886 there too. So coming down to these levels here would be a nice area to build a position. You've also got your daily 200 moving average there, so I think you get a nice bounce. All right. I think we got KNC already. Yeah, so KNC is actually in a pretty good place, not gonna lie. I do like how you've retested the daily 200 moving average here. That is good. Not bad at all, actually. RSI is reset at 50. Yeah, this is not bad. Cool. Like I'd be interested in picking up starting to build like a spot position here. For sure. I like this. Bring this up a little bit. Yeah, honestly, like I would build a position here and then here because I do like the higher high. Higher low, higher low, higher low. So for me, I don't see a reason why this doesn't take off. Nice. Good chart. BTC ETF inflow in before FOMC. We'll see, man. We'll see how the BTC inflow works out. Oh, looks like we're pumping, aren't we? Dang. Little pumpy pump action. Gonna have to pull up some BTC ETH charts here. Get on the 1 hour. Oh man. Sheesh. Not bad. Like I said, if we get back above these local highs, that'll look great. ETH playing out that higher low structure I was talking about. Oh yeah. Looks good. Jupe. Yeah, so Jupe is, I mean, it's not looking bad here. Personally, I think I would wait for, man, this one's kind of tough. Want to be careful here. Wait for your local highs. Definitely wait for a 1 hour candle close above this 1.187 level because you could easily swing failure pattern this level, especially on a pre-FOMC pump. That would not surprise me one bit. So coming up, flipping that into support, that'd be the ideal scenario. So just have your alerts set on this line and you will be good. All right. Yeah, we could look at file and TIA. These will be the last two. Yeah, so TIA overall, like I'm still in this one on spot, just barely missed my break-even price. It doesn't look bad. I think coming up to this resistance and rejecting did not surprise me. Overall, if you're not already in a position here, anywhere around my average price, 12.5 would be a good starter position, but I would actually like build like my full position, like buy like way heavier if we get a move down to this wick here around like right below $10. This would be my ideal scenario. And then file, get on the daily here. Yeah, file looks pretty good. Really the only thing is you're retesting these range highs, and this is support here at $8. So yes, you are at support. It's not looking bad. Let's go to the 4-hour here. Overall, if you get a move down in this order block here on the 4-hour, this would be like my ideal area for a trade. You already got a couple drives of bullish div, yes, but and you took the wick, okay. Yeah, you did take that wick. This one's a little difficult. It's just harder to strategize at the current levels. Something like this would be of the most interest to me. Sweet. Thanks, guys. Looked at a couple of different coins. Glad we were able to look at harmonics and jump on chart request. That makes me happy. Got a little bit of both in there. And so I'm going to post probably KNC in my channel because I actually really like that spot setup. And yeah, that'll probably do it for the stream today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Blazed, you got it from here, buddy.
Thanks, G. As always, take care of yourself, man. And do see what your cat is up to, because even my fellow went berserk here.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I was like, man, he's meowing a lot. Thanks.
Yeah, so pretty much something going out there. Take care. Okay, folks. So for any of you who are interested and who want to do this thing,